Michael, what's the overriding emotion after that? Getting that drought break?
Some joy, more relief. Yeah, it's probably it. We get to coming into the bye, we probably get to smile for a little while. We haven't had that for quite a period of time, and we've had to stick at it's been a lot of eyes in, trying to be able to obviously rectify and get after a few things that we needed to correct, and believe in a process that'll work its way out, and believing that we needed to be able to go about creating more opportunities for ourselves, and that scoring need will eventually change, and all the things you believe in high performance, and sort of try and back that in, and certainly over that period of time we can test all those things. But no, a lot of joy, but I won't lie, a little bit of relief as well.
What does it do for the second half of the season? I mean, the timing's great in the bye, what does it do for the back end of the year?
I don't know. I'm just going to take this little moment in, if you don't mind. I'm not going to look too far forward. I think sort of now we get to break, we've been able to at least execute a hell of a lot better in this game. To be honest, I sort of thought a performance like that's been on the cards for a couple of weeks and hasn't been necessarily put all together. So to be able to go into the bye with a smile on the face and 4 points in the pocket, and get our rest, because it's been a very long time, 14 weeks without a rest. So we'll recharge, recover. We'll spend a bit of time as a team on what that looks like for us when we get back. But no, we'll take the rest and the recovery, and also the 4 points.
Quarter time, it still looked like you were a bit flat and things weren't working. What did you say a lot? Because you seemed to have a few words to say. What do you think changed?
No, I thought the thing that we were doing was still bringing great pressure around the contest. So, I felt like that was still pretty solid. We weren't necessarily getting a lot of territory in the game. We had a couple of opportunities that we could, that we weren't able to quite convert from very limited opportunities. Obviously, Gold Coast missed a few chances as well. So to be able to hold on through that first quarter and still be able to, the scoreboard wasn't ticking over against us, needed us to be able to just hang in there for a little bit longer and just sort of take in the grind, the fight, and that was really the message at quarter time, was keep believing in that, and the opportunities will start opening up. But I don't think I necessarily anticipated what was going to happen in the second quarter, and really that was on the back of just some centre square bounce dominance.
That second quarter you mentioned, it was almost a throwback to the first half of last year when you sort of fearless and taking the game on. I guess there'll be a lot of Carlton fans out there asking, where's that been for the last 5-6 weeks, I guess? Yeah,
it's always the intent. There's never a week you don't have the intent to try to achieve that, but there's a lot of circumstances and perhaps a lot of distractions that we've had. Players have been really struggling with some form, and we're trying to get some continuity with our team. We're trying to get not continuity in the system that we want to play. There's been a lot of reinforcement about and encouragement to try and play a little bit more brave, a little bit more daring. So today it come together. It wasn't just the offence, it was about our contest first and foremost, and that probably put ourselves in better positions.
The distractions you talk about, which ones specifically?
There's lots of commentary. Clearly it's a lot of commentary on the footy club, and so that can sort of test your direction and where you want to go. And I'm pleased that we've got 4 points. So let's sort of put it in perspective. But the club has been really unified through this period of time and really clear on what we think will help us moving forward. And I think that's probably the most significant thing that's come out of this, is for us to be able to, as a footy club, not just a footy team, but a footy club, be able to stay really tight through that period of time and believe on where we're going. And we know we're not there yet, so we're not suggesting that, but it certainly did test that for periods of time.
So footy clubs often say we try and keep the external noise out and inside the four walls, but has that, judging by what you're saying, that's been a bit tough in the last 5-6 weeks to sort of keep the players shielded from the intense scrutiny?
There's been a storm on the outside, but it's been calm inside, and we know sometimes a storm will pass, but we just have to make sure we're still really clear and calm and on what we need to be able to do. And I've just got great belief in the players, and I get asked that question a lot, and but I see what they're doing. I have the visibility of all that, so I'm fortunate that I get to watch them go to work, and I get to watch them take ownership of where we're at and how they're working on their game, and trying to have an eyes-in approach and embrace what that process actually looks like. So it's been tough at times. It's been really, really tough. But fortunately, they've stuck at it. We've had to correct a lot of things, and this is just one small step in that little bit of direction.
How have you been able to remain calm? I mean, focus has been on your whole football club for 6 weeks, potentially longer. You've been through this sort of stuff before, but how have you been able to remain calm?
Lots of conversations. There's been a lot of really good conversations. So, and we're pretty committed on that direction. So I think when you're sort of really aligned with what you're trying to achieve, it's a hell of a lot easier. And there's a great alignment there, and it's led by our president and our CEO, and and just for our staff as well. It's just not the players that go through this; it's also our staff in particular. The footy department and how we've sort of had to work through things, and we've been pretty strong on some philosophies, and we'll continue to be that way. That doesn't mean that every result's going to go our way. We're not going to win every game. We're not sort of anticipating that necessarily that's the case, but we'll put ourselves in with a percentage chance. And if we do that often enough, then the results will go our way.
The midfield's copped a bit of heat during this period. How pleased were you for them today? It seemed like it all clicked for them.
I cracked in today. Absolutely cracked in. That was a version that I've seen before, and I hope I continue to see. The other thing I think I just shared the load. I wasn't on one particular person. The stats may roll out that way, but what I felt like it was that was a midfield group that were going at one team, and were able to give us a really good looks forward to the ball. And I've again felt that the forwards have been sort of taking their turn when they've needed to, and it hasn't been all going that well because the scoreboard hasn't been ticking over. We've been generating opportunities, but we haven't been able to finish our work. So as it turns out, we're able to finish our work.
How much does it help when the midfielders are kicking some goals and sort of taking the head off the...
Yeah, it does, but I think it's a byproduct of what you're trying to create. So our job is to just try and continually create that clarity. And, if we're not sure about things, then we've just got to keep going after being really clear and really simple when you can stray off track. So, certainly today was a hell of a lot closer to that. All the phases were just closer together. We've had bits and pieces that have let us down in that particular part of the game for us. Contest's been good, and then defence drops away, and then defence comes good, and the offence hasn't been finishing. So that's made it tough going. But today, the second quarter probably helped us a lot, gave us a bit of a breathing room, and probably let the players be able to just enjoy it a little bit more.
How big a focus was the tackle count? You had 33 last week. You almost had that number at half time. Finished with 71 today. Was that a focus heading into the game? I'm sure it's a focus every week, but is it something you focused on this week?
Yeah, no, it was a pretty big priority for us. It has been a focus for us for a few weeks because we sort of felt like early in the year we just weren't getting enough pressure on the ball. So for whatever reason, that's what it looked like, and so we've tried to address that over a period of time, and we're able to get that today. And I thought we created that, which gave us just better looks in better parts of the ground and more opportunities to be able to hit the scoreboard. So, I guess the beneficiary of that is the forwards. Some of the beneficiaries of that are some midfielders who can push forward and kick a few goals. But we were well and truly a lot more on the same page when it comes to what sort of pressure we need to be able to bring in the game.
You mentioned that the captain's been out of form in recent times. Pretty happy with his response today, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's good, and he's he rides every bump, Cripper, and he's absolutely desperate for success for this football club. There's a lot of boys in there that have gone the journey, and they've come through together, and they just want to represent the club as best they possibly can, make us proud as we possibly can. And today was a good day for us. We also know that we've got some work ahead of us, and this guarantees nothing. But we get to reset ourselves at the bye, and then we get after the back half of it.
Did you take a punted selection down back and we start small like him was matched up on Case Bowl just to get some run going in?
Not really. Like Newey was a bit of that was a no-brainer really, because he's had such a great first part of the year. So it meant we did go a little bit smaller, but some of those guys have actually been in some reasonable form, and some of it's also that we're still trying to build out what our back 6-7 looks like. Boyd's come in and he hasn't played a lot of footy together. Sincotta, you've seen down there, has played a lot of footy as well. So they're still learning that cohesiveness as a back 6 or 7, and they're starting to get some footy behind them now together. So that's pleasing to be able to sort of see that. So and then obviously Newey's been a leader down there for us.
You got 6 goals from Santa Cruz in the second quarter. I mean, are the other phases?
You just have to do that, don't you?
Yeah.
You just don't have to do anything else. Just do that. It's a pretty simple game.
Also got a really good stoppage day.
Yeah. I mean,
There's been a bit of commentary around
yeah.
adding layers. Like, where does that sit?
Look, I think it just goes back to your intent's always the same. You're trying to get, what your game looks like. And what we're constantly there to do is provide the picture. And if the picture's not quite right, then we've got to provide the clarity. And we've got to keep getting after it. So, I feel like sometimes when you walk in here and you say nothing changes for us, you take that the wrong way. Because sometimes it's about the consistency of being able to execute and reinforcing the things that work. And we got to look at that today, which a lot of that actually went to work, and a lot of it's been off the back of probably a good month of trying to get after that part of the game, not just centre square bounce. I'm just talking probably more around the contest in particular.
You mentioned the back line there. I thought the governor and Weidra are also quite strong down there as well as those sort of twin pillars on those key forwards. Yeah,
look, I think again it gave us the presence on the ground level. So being able to get the ball to the floor and hopefully gives a little bit of punch out of back half. I felt like today we sort of picked the right tempo at different times. It wasn't all ballistic and it wasn't all slow. We were able to find a nice medium there. And it gave us, clearly, obviously, it tested their defence a little bit, which is what we hoped coming in. So that particular phase was a little bit more rewarding for them than perhaps what it's been in the past. And, a couple of inclusions, I felt like having, David Cunningham coming in and Fogarty coming in as well. Nice and clean. They get out of congestion. They understand how to get around the ground, the roles we needed to play. And, I felt that they were important inclusions as well.
Can you just tell us about David Cunningham's return? First time he played under you, first time he played in more than 2 years. What got him back to this point to come in, especially for a pretty big game for your club?
Well, he's always been fit. He's healthy and he's been fit. Obviously, we just haven't been able to use him because he's been injured for such a long period of time. But I guess he's persisted. His last 2 weeks have been really good. I thought, maybe the VFL a bit scratchy in the first week. Certainly last week he was really good. And the biggest decision we just had to make was just, do we hold another week more for durability and so he can sort of build some load into his body. But we're assured that he was ready to go and he had done plenty of work coming into those particular 2 games. And it was good to be able to add him in, and he added certainly a point of difference. Jack Martin's now been back in there for a couple of weeks. He's added a little bit of point of difference for us up forward as well. So, we're constantly evolving as a team. And, if we can just, get a few of the guys out there for a little bit longer and build that cohesiveness, that'll make a massive difference to us.
Michael, how long do you send the guys away for during the bye? Are they away for 6, 7, 8 days, just a few days? How do you
some will take a little bit longer. The guys have carried the heaviest of the loads so far, have missed a game or, been called on to do a few extra things. They'll probably take a longer break. So they'll take the week, whereas most of us will sort of be back in 4 or 5 days. Just finish off the week and then build into next week. So, I think right now it's like let's just enjoy the 4 points and let's go, spend the next 7 days with a smile on our face, and we'll come back in next Tuesday and we'll get our eyes firmly fixed on the Hawks.
Any injuries to report today?
No, none today. So, which is pleasing. So, thank you. Cheers.